Merdeka!
Order. Questions for oral answer. Mr. Zulkarnain Abdul Rahim.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the safety and well-being of every child is of utmost importance in our schools. In primary schools, students are taught personal safety and how to safeguard themselves against abuse in an age-appropriate manner. Students are also equipped with skills to seek help. This includes listing the trusted adults whom they can turn to for help. They are also encouraged to look out for their peers and seek help for those who display any signs of distress. There are also system-wide efforts to support children who are victims of abuse and domestic violence. Students who face such situations can report them to their teachers, school counselors, or student welfare officers. Teachers also monitor the well-being of the students and look out for students who are at risk of such abuses. All school counselors and student welfare officers are trained to use the Child Abuse Reporting Guide, which was jointly developed by the Ministry of Social and Family Development and the ministries with frontline staff working with children. For example, the Ministries of Education, Health, the Police Force. In turn, the school counselors train the teachers in their schools to pick up signs of child abuse using the sector-specific screening guide. Principals report suspected child abuse cases, including exposure to family violence, immediately to the Child Protective Service and work closely with the child protection officers and/or approved welfare officers to ensure that timely intervention is provided for the children involved. Thank you.
Mr. Zulkarnain.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank the MOS for the clarification and the answer. And I understand that there is a guideline and a framework for the reporting and identifying of child abuse cases amongst primary school students. What I'm concerned with would be amongst the vulnerable, the voiceless amongst them, i.e. The primary school students who will not be able to voice out in terms of any abuse or any trauma that they are facing. So I would like to ask MOS whether the ministry can consider any art therapy or other indirect counseling sessions to identify these signs of trauma or child abuse. For instance, perhaps we can equip students with some form of indirect messaging to signal that they are facing such problems. For instance, in Poland and in certain countries, they have this called signaling for help, which is a trap thumb. You put your thumb between these two fingers and you show it as a sign that there is some form of violence happening in the home. So this can be happening during a Zoom call, during session. So these are the kind of things that perhaps maybe primary school students can be more aware of, that they shouldn't be rendered voiceless and helpless. Thank you.
I thank the member for his supplementary question. Indeed, we are always concerned about young children, and in primary schools, students are taught in primary one, as young as from primary one, about their personal rights to safety and how to safeguard themselves. This takes place during the form teacher guidance period. These are lessons which are part of the character and citizenship education, and these lessons are mandatory for all students, for all schools to deliver. They help students recognize that they can seek help from a trusted adult when they are hurt or in perhaps a variety of ways. For instance, if someone has caused them physical pain, if someone has touched them in a way that made them feel confused, uncomfortable, sad, or if someone has touched them in their private areas without good reasons, or if someone has forced him or her to touch the adult, or someone has told them not to tell anyone that he or she has touched them. So teachers go through these scenarios with students, but we recognize that young children may or may not have the verbal skills to be able to communicate effectively. I thank the member for suggesting signaling communication methods. You had mentioned art therapy. Schools do use different methods. They could perhaps use journaling, for instance, and teachers are also trained to pick up these non-verbal cues. If young children should, through their drawings, suggest that there are things happening at home that they're not comfortable with, that perhaps suggest family violence or abuse, teachers are trained to pick this up. But we can all imagine that different children express themselves differently. What is most important is that our teachers are sensitized and have trusting relationships with the children. And the children know that they can go to the teachers if they feel uncomfortable or if they have been hurt in any way. So there are potentially different ways and methods that teachers can develop for the children to be able to reflect and communicate their emotions. I wouldn't rule any of them out, and I thank the member for his suggestions. Thank you.